Last day of the month of January, which means I get to sneak in another overview. And today we're going to take an advanced look at the Conan the Barbarian oversized hardcover from Marvel Comics. So, let's do this. By crumb, it is finally here. The oversized hardcover of Jason Aaron's run on Conan. But before we take a look at it, a huge thank you to David Gabriel and everyone at Marvel Comics for sending us an advance copy of this oversized hardcover. This OHC is due out in the direct market on February 3rd, and then a couple of weeks later in the book market. Now, this one only has one cover, so there is no variant cover, but this is the Asrar cover. Here is what the spine looks like for all you spine watchers out there. I love the classic logo to Conan the Barbarian there. And then you have a picture of Conan down here by Mahmoud Asrar. And then the back of the book. And one thing you probably notice right off the bat is the Parental Advisory. Because there are some mature things in here, and we'll talk a little bit about what those are here in a second. One thing I do want to stress is that this is an oversized hardcover, meaning that it is as tall as an omnibus. So here it is compared to the size of the Marvel Omnibus of Conan Volume 5. Of course, not nearly as thick, because it's an oversized hardcover, not an omnibus. And speaking of omnibus, I'll be doing an advanced look at this omnibus sometime in the next week or so. Let's bring it back to this. Let's talk about this book. Let's look under the dust jacket. I absolutely love when they do this. I got so excited when I saw under the War of the Realms omnibus, there was a map, and here you have the Hyborian Age map. So you have Samaria, and you have all these kingdoms, if you will, during this time, this fictional time. Maybe, maybe not. So let's go ahead and take a look inside the book. So let's crack this open. And the book is all written by Jason Aaron. Most of the artwork is supplied by Mahmoud Asrar. And then you also have Gerardo Zaffino and Gary Brown helping out. And then, of course, the colorist, Matthew Wilson. Matthew Wilson had worked with Jason Aaron before. And there's Asad Ribic's cover. And the cover that you saw for this particular volume is the cover to issue number 2. But let's just focus on this right now. This means so much to me. This is a really cool spread because it is focusing on the life of Conan, everywhere he's been, where he's going, taken from the pages of Savage Sword, the Marvel years. So you've got artwork in here by Barry Windsor Smith, John Buscema. So this is really cool. So when people ask me where's a good jumping on point for Conan, it's very difficult to say when, because the beauty of Conan is you can pick up any volume and he is at a different point in his life, particularly those volumes of Savage Sword. This is a little bit different. This is Jason Aaron's own take on Conan. I'm not saying he's not staying true to the character. It's just literally his own take. It's something I haven't seen done. But then again, I'm not a Conan connoisseur. I've just, for the first time, I've been reading the Roy Thomas stuff, and I'm currently working on Volume 5 of the Omnibus. That's how I'm reading those. I read all the Dark Horse years, and I'm currently reading the Savage Sword years, the classic stuff. But I haven't seen this done where in the same issue, we start off with Conan as a baby, and then we start off with Conan as King Conan. So it seems like it's going back and forth in time, and this is the Parental Advisory. Badassness. I mean, we're talking about Conan the Barbarian. For all those people that were worried, like, Marvel owns the rights to Conan, there's no way they can do it justice, there's not going to be any violence. Well, there is. So to me, this feels like a good mix of the Marvel original comics and the Savage Sword. So you have a lot of the brutality from Savage Sword, and you have the colors, right? And still some limitations that they can't do because it's still a comic book, and Parental Advisory doesn't mean that they're going to go full-blown mature. Not a max line. But it's pretty cool to see that. It's, decapitation, just dismemberment of body parts. It's, to me, I don't know, brings out the 12, 13-year-old in me that love reading that kind of stuff. So let's go back to my point, where I've never seen that in a Conan comic, where within the same issue, within the same story arc, we're going back and forth between young Conan, middle-aged Conan, and King Conan. The only other place I've seen that recently was Jason Aaron's Thor run. We have young Thor, you have Thor, and then you have old Thor. So I thought that was both interesting and almost feels like we've done that recently. but it's interesting to do it with a Conan book. Now, what he does do is introduce us to a new character, the Crimson Witch, who plays a big part of Conan's life throughout his entire life. From the moment that he meets her, she goes back into the shadows, and she's also part of his life when he's King Conan. Because the premise of this is the life and death of Conan the Barbarian. That's what the story is called. Now, whether he dies at the end or not, I will let you find out on your own, because I'm not about to spoil that for anybody. Look at that! Brutality. Yes! But this is what the artwork looks like. This is Asrar's artwork. And I think it fits the tone of the book. He has a very Stuart Eminence type of style. I don't want to say cartoony, because it really isn't, because there's a lot of images in here that don't feel like a cartoon because of the amount of detail. But Wilson's freaking colors really add a certain just dirtiness to the book. I think that's the best way I can describe it. Whether it's now, this is not him. This is Zavino's artwork here, who's also the other artist. And I love his take on that. Is so awesome. His take on King Conan, this older Conan, kind of reminds me of Liam Sharp or Sean Murphy. Maybe if Liam Sharp and Sean Murphy had a kid, this is what the kid's art style would look like. I know that's not the way genetics works, but stay with me. But this is what that art looks like, and then we go back to Asrar's artwork, to the younger Conan. And then all the covers are supplied by Azad Ribic. Now, the book retails for $34.99. It has 296 pages, and we'll talk about the extras here in a little bit. So, I think this is a good jumping on point for people that have never read Conan, because immediately you get to find out about his past. You get to find out about his future, where he ends up, and then you're caught somewhere in the middle with a new character, and then old characters appear too, because we have the return of Thothamon, and you all know how much I love those 2 issues of X-Men with him in it. And he's been a villain to Conan in the past, in the original Marvel years, so it's nothing new. And then we get a surprising sort of new character. I'll let you find out towards the end of the storyline. So to me, I think this is a good jumping on point, because you see all aspects of Conan's life. Beginning, maybe the end, but just when he's younger and older. And all the women that have come into his life. Because, I mean, that's the one thing about Conan he doesn't shy away from. Punching horses and lions. It's all in here. So I think it's true to the character, the way that Jason Aaron writes it. And like I said, I am not a Conan connoisseur, though. I did read the book, the first novel that I had. I read that all the way back in high school. Let's look at the extras here in the back. So we have some variant covers back here. We have some full splash page variant covers. That is freaking awesome, Safino's variant cover. There's another variant by Azad Ribic. And then we get some thumbnail-looking covers here. John Cassidy. I didn't even recognize that one. I think they have a classic one, too, by John Buscema. Now, the 12 issues that are collected in here are the first 12 issues of this ongoing series. This is the 2019 series. However, this is all of Jason Aaron. After this, Jim Zub takes over the book with issue 13. So, I don't know if they'll do another hardcover of those. Perhaps the sales of this one might warrant those to be collected in oversized hardcover. I do love this character's design, the Crimson Witch. It's simple, and it's such a Conan character, though. So here's some more variant covers. And let's see here. Yes, right there. By John Buscema. This is the Jim variant. So it's got new colors on this classic artwork. And this is one here by Bill Sienkiewicz. Man, that's beautiful. Wish all of these were full size. There's a lot. There's Nick Bradshaw. That guy I miss on internal artwork. And then the back here. That's one by Steve McNiven. Now, let's look at the binding of this book and talk about the paper quality. So it is sewn binding. We're going to be looking at some spreads here because you can see the lack of an eye, but you really don't need much of one when you have a book that's 296 pages. I wanted to come back here to the beginning of the book just to show you just the gutter loss right there, a little bit of it, including Baylet down there. And let's find another spread. Not towards the beginning. Here's sort of a spread. There's a couple others, but they are spoilery, so I wanted to stay away from those. So here's one. This is probably right around the middle. And let's see, there's just minimal gutter loss right there. And as far as the paper quality, it is It feels like the omnibus paper qualities. Just this thick, glossy paper. It doesn't feel thin at all. And I think one of the things I'm going to be asked is this the same Conan that's in the Marvel years, or is it the same Conan that's in the Savage Sword? And each one of those, honestly, almost feels like a reimagining of the character. I will say that this is the same Conan that it does appear in Savage Avengers, though. And if you don't know what happens in those pages, read Avengers No Road Home first, and then read Savage Avengers, to see exactly what I'm talking about. But that, as they say, is that. When the book comes out, don't forget to check out our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and the build of this oversized hardcover. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to pick it up. If you're picking it up because you're a huge Conan fan and no matter what, you buy everything Conan, or if you're going to pick it up because you're new to Conan and this is your way, your entry point to get into Conan. Again, if you have any questions, please leave all those questions down below. I'll be happy to answer them. Don't forget to hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. And speaking of live, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be interviewing Cullen Bunn. So if you want to join me for that, that would be great. And that's at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so set those clock, Minties. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all for watching. More importantly, please, all of you, stay healthy, stay safe, and much love.